Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so excited you guys decided to join me on this lovely day, and happy Pride Month once again. Especially if this is your first time watching my channel. This is part of my Pride Month build kind of series. Each Sunday I post a Sims 4 video, and during Pride Month I'm doing a Pride build during each of those builds. Yeah. So this one is for a pansexual polycule. I kind of imagined it being like a throuple, but also you could make it be like two couples who like swap, and then like not really two couples, but like four people. But yeah, we're building this in Del Sol Valley, which is the world that comes in Get Famous. And we're using a lot of Strangerville stuff because I really like the doors and the windows and stuff that come with that pack, and I don't get a chance to use them very often, and I also don't do like a house shape like this very often. It also doesn't really quite fit like the Del Sol Valley-esque vibe, but also it being like really colorful. Oh, my microphone just about fell off the desk. That would have been fun. The really colorful vibe does. Sorry, I'm trying to get comfy cozy. You should also try to get comfy cozy because this is a bit of a doozy of, not a doozy, but it's a little bit longer. We got like a 30-minute video for us to get nice and comfy and cozy for. The outside has pretty much came together at this point. I'm trying to add some dormers. The dormers are different colors. We don't worry about that. It's kind of a fun accent, if you will. And now we're going to go in and try to figure out the floor plan. The floor plan is a bit interesting just because of the shape of the home. I also wanted like a structured entryway, which doesn't really help with the floor plan. And also this upstairs only being like half of the main floor also doesn't really help with the floor plan also in general. But you'll see it kind of comes together here. We have 2 bedrooms over here with a bathroom. And then upstairs, we end up getting a bathroom and another 2 bedrooms. And then on the other part of the main floor, we end up getting another bedroom and a bathroom, and then like a dining room and a kitchen living area. So this ends up being a 5 bedroom, 3 bathroom build, which is pretty large considering my last few builds I've done have been like a tiny home or like an apartment. Hello, Inez. Are you gonna come try to? She's very upset that my microphone is on my lap, which means I think that she's gonna attempt to try to also be on my lap, but we'll see. Oh, nope, she's gonna go the other way. Hello. Hi. Her ESA duties are very much required. I'm having a very rough last 12 even longer hours. The summers for me in general are rough. I've talked about this before about how like when I'm a teacher by trade, and so when school's not in session, my anxiety decreases, which is great, but my depression then just hits me like a truck, and that's not fun in any way, shape, or form. I am medicated, so we're hoping that will help, but alas, yeah, not fun, not the vibes, not what we want. It is hopefully going to get better. I was going to do a camping trip with my friend, and then she was like, oh, it's Father's Day weekend. Maybe I can't. And that also made me very sad. But now she might. It sounds like she probably will be coming. I don't know. I also don't want to get my hopes up because I know if I get my hopes up again, it's just going to like be crushed because, yeah, I just am not highly, but I have some autistic tendencies, and one of them is like I'll get very excited when people say things and then they don't follow through on them, and then that just like crushes my soul, and then they'll like come back into my life and say something, and then I'm like, I don't know if I can trust you at all. And one of my friends is reaping the repercussions of this, and like I honestly should have better trust with them, but I've been burned by them a few too many times. And not even like burned, it's just like I've played up and like had a whole bunch of emotional things happen with them, and so now it's really hard to fully let them in and fully trust them. Like I want to, but I am so scared, and yet I can't find it in myself to just like fully cut ties from them because I really enjoy spending time with them. Even though all my friends say that I should maybe stop doing that, but alas, this is a conversation for therapy. But if you're a real trooper, you'll know that a lot of my videos end up like this, especially if they're on the longer side. We are doing some landscaping here. It's a little bit different than my normal landscaping. And then you're also going to see here, I'm going to kind of make like an alleyway. This is like a 50 by 40 lot, I think. It's a very large lot. And so I kind of partialed it off, divided it up. I don't even know what I was trying to say there. To make use of the space a little bit better. So I did kind of like this alleyway thing, mirroring the camp that was next to them. Not the camp, the playground area that was next to them. And then towards the end of the video, you'll see I kind of turn the back section of it into like a different lot. But we can talk about that more when we get there. Right now we're kind of looking for a fence. I was trying to find the same exact fence in debug, but I couldn't, so I ended up using the white picket fence that comes in the Strangerville pack because I was already using the Strangerville doors, and I love a white picket fence, and I imagined this house would have a white picket fence, so we did that instead. But yeah, I think after this we end up going inside and like actually starting some of the floor, like actually decorating some of the house, if I remember and recall correctly, because I was gonna keep doing some of the outside stuff because I was like motivated. Oh no, I actually grabbed a satellite dish, I think, and put it up there because I was motivated by the Paralife video I just posted on Friday. It's kind of a little bit longer of a video once again, but I will link it here for those of you who would be interested in watching that. I should write that down, that I'm gonna link that at the 7-minute mark. Oh, it means I have to get uncomfy. Oh my god. And find a sticky note and a pen. Oh my goodness. 7-minute mark, Paralife card will be linked. But I did like a little rooster crow thingy on the top of that like cottagey build, and that was right before I recorded this build. Time to get comfy again. And now we're gonna go inside and do some of the decorating in there. I ended up starting in this hallway. I wanted it to be kind of a fully fleshed out hallway. I use a lot of the grunge mudroom kit, I believe it is. It's the mudroom kit. It came out, I don't even know, like a year ago maybe. But yeah, I also ended up, I used the Strangerville doors again, shocker, but I also really love those. And then I wanted to put a fish tank here. It fit so perfectly and it looked so good. And then I remembered I actually need a door to that room. So then I was like, oh, crap. Well, here I'm also putting in the lighting, but I go back and I'm like, crap, I actually do need a door there. So I have to delete that, and I end up doing like a full body mirror instead. And then we had to do a Jack and Jill bathroom for those 2 bedrooms, get in some arches for the dining room and like the access to the living room, and then a little sliding glass door, and I end up putting a patio on the back. Excuse me. And then we're trying to find a tile, and I just am so called to the Jungle Adventure tile. It's one of my favorites in game, and I never use this red swatch, and since we're using like the red windows and doors and stuff, I thought it would be like the perfect kind of time to use those. And then I also never use the counters that come in the For Rent pack, I believe it is. And so I'm using those here, and I honestly really like them with this. The appliances are from the Growing Together pack, and the upper cabinets look so good, and they also have like this shelf, so you'll see I end up putting those up there and I repeat it. And then I end up getting some clutter and covering up some of the repeating clutter from the shelves, so it doesn't look like I just put the same shelves up there twice. I don't know how much of this did in there because I was messaging like friends during this time. That is the one bad thing, is that I should be better about not messaging friends while I'm building, but also like I enjoy talking to people, and talking to people is like one of the main ways to distract myself from the depression, and also building. So I could like just build a whole bunch, but then I have to have the motivation to build. I am going to sneeze shortly, just so you are warned. But um yeah. And then I end up doing a little island here. I do little circle bits with the same color swatches from the counters on the backside. And then I do these Love Struck, I believe, bar stools. I wish that I could put like 5 bar stools, but they do have 3 kids, so like 3 bar stools makes sense. Me drawing out that massive TV is crazy. And then I use the sofa from the Cozy Kitsch kit, I believe. And I use like the armchair and then the little poof. I end up putting them all in different swatches, and I think that kind of makes it a little bit fun. And then I use like one of the matching rugs in a fun swatch. I do like the hobby board over there. I end up getting a TV and like the Parenthood, whatchamacallit, the like curfew board kind of thing. Get trash can. I grab a lamp and throw that in the corner, and then also like a plant over there to kind of help cover up the spandrel. Is it the spandrels? Is that the right word? Like the railing. There we go. That's clipping. And I throw up some of those photo frames you get in Growing Together to kind of put up your own photos. I like doing that especially in family builds because I feel like that's, I don't know. It also makes me feel, I just think there's like not that much paintings in the game, and so like having to repeat them is just not my favorite thing. But now we're going into the dining room and doing some of these Oasis or like Desert Luxe kit curtains that I always use. I love these custom ones that I can kind of place myself. And then we try to get like a little hutch over there in the corner. There's enough room for 6 people in here. That's why I imagined there was usually like a throuple and then like 3 kids. And honestly, that'd be kind of cool because then you could like each of you could like have a kid that you're like closest to. And for sure, I don't know. I just kind of love the vibes of the idea of this household. It's also, I imagined 2 teens and then like a preteen, so I imagine they're like a little bit older of kids. And they could have adopted too, or like each had their own science baby. Which if you don't know in The Sims 4, that's where you just like go and have a science baby by yourself, and it's just like genetically only your kid, which I love. And then I get like this crocheted pansexual flag, and then these cutie like embroidered things, and then a little pendant. Or, yeah, I think it's these ones, yeah. And, like, a little jar of tulips, I believe. And then we go in back and start cluttering up the living room. I think I already cluttered up the kitchen, so I don't think there's oh, no, I didn't. So then we clutter up the kitchen. I thought about moving the sink. I end up not moving the sink. I get a little tea kettle and a dishwasher, and I put that in the island. And then I put up a whole bunch of clutter. And I left the island, I think, uncluttered, so that should be where you could prepare food if you're cooking, for your sim cooking. And not if, I imagine that you will be cooking in this household at some point. You're going to be feeding a lot of sims. And then we get some more kind of fun pendant lightings to go. This is like a very vibrant, colorful house, and somehow I feel like it all works out really nicely. That's something I usually struggle with, is like doing not enough color. But I think that this house has a really good amount of color. And then you'll see me kind of doing, I didn't want to do a tub shower combo in this bathroom. Well, I kind of did, but it wouldn't work out with like the placement of where I have the door. So I decided not to do that. So there's just a shower in this one. And then I used like a sink from the For Rent pack again. And then like the Parenthood medicine cabinet, and then I get a gallery wall up over here. It's kind of a little bit simple and clean, but this is like the bathroom that like guests are going to use, and probably their oldest teenage son whose room's over there. And then I go and do this Jack and Jill bathroom that's a little bit more cluttered, a little bit more detailed. I imagine that their teenage daughter and like preteen daughter share this room, so a little bit more of like makeup and like hairbrushes and like kind of that kind of clutter out and about. And some like extra bathrobes and all of that good fun things that you would see in a teenage girl's bathroom. But this one does have a shower tub combo, so it makes it a little bit more versatile for your gameplay. Like if you have a dog, or if you want to switch out one of these beds and have a toddler or an infant or anything along those sizes, you'd want a tub. And it's also nice to have a tub, especially if you're like spa day. You can like do some of the fancy like muscle soaks. That sounds so nice. My body is dead. I've been putting it through the ringer, and I'm so excited to like go camping and like have like the rest of today and tomorrow off. I'm also terrified because my brain is not in a good space to not have something actively going on. And so I'm definitely going to be playing some video games until my friend gets off work. I wasn't gonna go with her, like I had said, but she's probably coming now, so I'll probably have to wait for her to get off work. Boring. But hopefully she gets to come because that'll be much better for my mental health. I also did end up putting laundry upstairs in this bathroom and another shower tub combo. I copied over a lot of the same things from the Jack and Jill bathroom downstairs. But some things are a little bit different. Obviously, added in the laundry. I did a double vanity, added some towels, a little less of the makeup clutter, and a little bit more of like toothbrushes and like hand soap. You know what I didn't put in any of these is hand towels. Oops. They're big proponents of the shake to dry. And they said, I already have enough laundry to do. We don't need to add in more towels. And now we're going into the preteen room where I kind of do this like light blue and pinky build. I was going to put in like a drawing table, but I imagine that this sim is like, I don't want anything kitty at all. And so they have like a desk and like they have like a few little stuffies that they're like, no, this is not going anywhere. And like a fun little chair and like a flower rug. So like a few bits of childhood whimsy still in there, but like not too terribly much because they're like, I'm gonna be a cool kid. I also added like a diary and like a stuffy on the desk and like the bracelet making kit and then some string lights with pictures. I imagine that they're just like so into like just like being or like trying to like be so grown up. I like a sticker machine, but I also added in like the unicorn like piggy bank and a little ottoman with another little stuffy. This room turned out really cutie. I'm glad that it turned out like that. And then we're gonna go into the older sister's room here in a second, and that one is like pink in your face. I used a lot of like the pastel pop kit. You'll see me pull out the bed and I was like trying to find like a fun swatch, and then I was like, you know what, this default swatch is actually really pretty. And I used like the two-tone wallpaper. I was trying to find a dresser I don't frequently use. I get the Get Famous one out, and then I use this fun parenthood mirror. I wanted the pink swatch with like the photos up on the top, and it was like hearts around a guy, and so I imagine that maybe she has a crush on him or something. I don't know. It was kind of fun, and I put some like tote bags over there. I get a fun like kind of comfy, cozy rug for the floor. I love a good fur rug, and then a fun plant. And then I end up grabbing, I don't know what I do. Oh, I do curtains next. I do the paranormal curtains that have like the little dangly bits. They're a little bit fun, a little bit extra. Imagine maybe something that she would have. And then I get the Pride like gallery wall piece here. I put it in the bisexual print because it kind of ties into the room. And I also imagine maybe she's a little bit bi-curious, which would be fun. And a salt lamp, some magazines, some cutie pumps, all of the good girly pop thingies. And yeah, we end up putting a little bit of, we get another little cushions. I imagine maybe she pulled those over and does like her makeup and like hair in the mirror in here, even though the bathroom's totally attached. She's just like all about being in her own space. And I added like the little heart Polaroid wall and some posters. And I was going to add another poster over there, but it just felt like it didn't quite fit. And then I tried using the tool mod to like size it down, and then it like would glitch and go away. And so I tried that again in the other teenage boys room. And I don't know if it's just something to do with like the posters, because I tried it with a painting and it worked fine. But yeah, it was being a little bit weird. But here I imagine this is actually the oldest sim in the house other than like the parents. But I imagine that he's getting like he's like a senior, maybe the other one's like a sophomore, and then like the preteens like in 6th grade or something. Talking about in the US. Obviously I don't have much experience with like the UK schooling, but I have a lot of experience with the US schooling system. So yeah, we are working in here. I imagine very big into sports, as very much like a clean individual, maybe like had a tiny bit of like a rebel-ish phase in his youth. But like now is like very much like probably going to like one of the schools and is gonna play football. Is like on a scholarship and all of like those fun things. You'll see I added a decent amount of sports clutter. I also used this werewolf mirror that's broken. That's why I think that he has a bit of like had a bit of a rebellious phase. But like I cleaned it up. I also used this light that comes in Discovery University, and I use the dartboard. The dartboard is not going to be functional there. I know that, but I imagine him sitting like on his bed and like throwing darts at the dartboard is very something like a teenage boy would do. And for the life of me, I could not figure out what I wanted on this wall, but I ended up getting like the signed jerseys from City Living and then sizing them up slightly because they're just a little bit too small for my preference. And then we end up cluttering up this dresser with like clothes and hats and like headphones, and like a box of shoes that are being opened, I think, and some sports clutter, obviously, because he's big into the sports. Oh my God, I didn't want the swatch of the bowling ball. That's actually kind of crazy. But I wanted the wooden bat. So I ended up doing that. Here you see I like sized it up like with the bracket keys, and that was just like too much. So I did the tool mod to get a more precise size up. And that's pretty much all for the first level. So then we go up to the second level and start with what I imagine to be the primary bedroom. And if you weren't playing with a polycule, this would be the primary bedroom, and then I would use the other one as like a guest room maybe. Or you could turn it into a nursery. It's like a perfect size for a nursery too. But in The Sims, you can't have 3 Sims or 4 Sims sleep in a bed together, at least not to my knowledge without mods. So I just kind of left it like that. I added a ceiling fan. I've been doing that more so with the primary bedrooms, which is interesting because I hate ceiling fans in real life. I think they're atrociously ugly. I do understand that practically they are necessary, but not pretty in any way, shape, or form. I should check and make sure that I'm still recording. Okay, good. I hadn't had like the voice memo tab open while I've been recording, and I was like, I think I would drive into a lake if at right now I just hadn't recorded any of this voiceover because it's going very well, in my opinion. We've had some deep talks. We've talked about the build. We've talked about extra things. There I added a hamper to go with a laundry bin. There isn't really room for a bedside table on the one side of this one. And I also didn't really feel like cluttering any of the bedside tables. So we just did a lamp. We kept it classy. We kept it simple. We added some windows. Oh my God, my body is like so sore from that stupid solid core class. And I think I'm going to start going once a week, which is good. But yeah, then we get this bed. The primary bedroom bed is from Get Famous, and this one is from Island Living, and then this rug is from Jungle Adventure. I used it in my penthouse build as well. I'll link that here for you guys. Penthouse build. And that was a lesbian one. That was kind of kicked off the Pride Month, and now we are almost done with the Pride Month build. There'll be one more Pride Month build for sure coming out, and then we'll get into July, and we'll kind of have some other builds, and I would love to take any of your build suggestions. You could drop them in the comments. July, I'm less sure if I'll be able to do the 3 videos a week. Probably will be able to. Once school starts, I most likely will not be able to. But for sure, until school starts, I'll probably try to do the 3 videos a week. It just makes life a little bit easier when I'm teaching to not have to do 3 videos a week. But if you're interested, I have a Stardew Valley expanded Let's Play that I've been doing. I post more Sims builds. I'm gonna keep doing them for the foreseeable future every Sunday, and then right now I'm kind of switching between different games on Fridays. So I've done some Overwatch videos, I've done some Pair Life videos. I'd be open to like other games too if you have other games you'd like to see me play. Who knows, maybe I'll start streaming at some point. I keep talking about it, but I just do not have the mental capacity to do that at this point. But I would love to get to the point where I am streaming. I think that could be fun, especially to like build something on stream with you guys and like have live feedback while I'm doing it. Or like play something on stream. I don't know. We'll see. My cat has gotten all comfy. I just recently got a chair in here, and she is taken claim to the chair. But now we're working on the outside stuff. I get some, like a love seat and some chairs and a little table with a citronella candle, some lights in the back. On the back of the patio, we have like a picnic table, and then we also have like a little patio area with another dining table, and then some monkey bars and swings, some trees. I'm doing the landscaping now. And then there's some terrain painting, and then we're getting towards the end of the build, which is actually kind of shocking. I mean, there's still a good chunk. Like, I have to do a lot of terrain painting, and then I have to do the whole, like, this terrain painting here that's, like, really detail-oriented. So it'll take a little bit, but we are getting towards the end. I want to thank you guys all so much for watching, especially if you're still watching. It really means a lot to me. I appreciate all the support that I've gotten, and my channel is growing very slowly, but I see you guys, and I appreciate you guys for watching my videos, even if it was just for a few minutes. If it was just for a few minutes, you're not still here, so I should get better about thanking you guys earlier. But, like, the ones who are sticking around this long, like, deserve the extra shout out. So, thank you all so much for that. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. If you want to get this build, it's available on the Sims 4 gallery. All of the information for that is in the description box below. Like I said, I'm posting 2 to 3 times a week. So if you want to make sure you don't miss any of those, make sure you're subscribed. And yeah, here's where I'm doing like the little backlot. I was trying to find stuff in debug, and I was going to do that house, and I was like, I don't want to landscape around a freaking house right now. So I was going to do an empty lot. I wanted to really find like a trailer, but I only found like the movie trailer, and I was like, I don't want it to be a movie star trailer. I just want it to be a camper. But yeah, I ended up finding like a little shed and like that truck. I put the truck on the alleyway though. And of course I found the freaking trailer like attachment after I posted the camping video. So I'll link that campsite video for you guys here if you'd like to go and watch that. But yeah, thank you guys all so very much for watching. I appreciate you. I am so glad to have you guys here, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.